Happy holidays and greetings from Longwood Gardens. It's such a magical time and we are so happy to be here. Before we start our adventure, give us a thumbs up if you like the video and subscribe as we cover everything travel related and follow for future adventures. Now, let's explore a Longwood Christmas together. The DuPont house always has a Christmas tree, and this year they have a 12-foot artificial tree, and you may be wondering, John, it's Longwood Gardens. Why artificial tree, not a real tree? But if you come in and look at the tree, it's beautifully decorated with glass ornaments. In fact, they are hand-painted, mouth-blown, and exclusively made in Europe. They just look phenomenal. All the ornaments were made by Christopher Radko's company, The Ornament King. And as you can see from the ornaments, they have something for everyone. An alien, some characters from The Wizard of Oz, and of course the classic Santa Claus. You can easily spend a little bit of time here because there's some ornaments tucked away. This may be my favorite ornament, Santa Claus riding a crocodile. Clearly, he was the original crocodile hunter. When you come into the Peirce DuPont house, you're going to hear beautiful Christmas music. And one of the things you need to see that's tucked away right by the doors is the Porter music box. It's fashioned out of an old Victorian music box, and you can see the copper disc spin. And the little holes there make the music play, and it just adds to the ambiance. When you come into the DuPont house, it's always worth seeing the tree, but the museum is always worth to see as well. You can learn about Longwood Gardens, the DuPont family, and they add a little bit of a Christmas touch. When the DuPonts were using this as their main residence, you can just imagine that they would have Christmas trees tucked away, just like this one. And what I really love about this tree is they pay homage to the nature, the birds, and everything else that Longwood is all about. Of course, the frog is decorated for Christmas. And it's great to see as fountains are turned off for the winter season. Near the DuPont house, you have the Meadows and the Treehouses, which we think are a little bit more magical at nighttime with the lights. So stay tuned, we'll be back there for that adventure. But we're headed to the Garden Railway. Of course, the Garden Railway includes the biggest celebrity of all, Thomas. So if you have a young kid or you want to relive your childhood memories, you can come see Thomas. Along with new trains, they add different buildings or designs. And usually you see buildings of main sites, main conservatory, Italian gardens, but this year they added a new one, the West Conservatory. Since the new space is open and it's now part of the Longwood family, it's just fitting that it's in the Garden Railway. When you walk into the East Conservatory, it's like going into a snow globe. There's snow on the trees, on the ground, just everywhere. Man, it's just amazing, and we can't wait to see what it is at nighttime. Holy moly, we were not expecting snow, and apparently they got a lot of it in the East Conservatory. And of course, they have larger-than-life Christmas presents, which is every kid's big dream, and they're just popping out, and hopefully maybe you can sneak a peek of what's inside. As with tradition, the ballroom is decked out with different trees, and this year they're decorated by local arts organizations. And you know what? I think I hear the organ playing, so let's go check it out. They have 7 trees that are decorated by the arts organizations and a few accent trees. And of course, the piping music just really gets you in the Christmas mood. Later on, they're going to have a live organ music playing, which is going to be really special. So stay tuned. We're hopefully going to be checking that out later. But let's take a look at the trees. This tree is amazing with the lights. As a centerpiece of the room, it really pops out. What's great is they have ornaments that tell you the organization that decorated the tree, as well as a little bit about their mission. Right in the middle of the exhibition hall is a 33-foot tall crystalline tree, and it has more than 900 hand-tied geometric shapes to it. It looks absolutely beautiful during the day, and I'm sure it's going to look even more stunning at nighttime. Longwood collaborated with a studio in Denmark for this tree, which makes it even more unique. And of course, Longwood kept with the tradition of having a rotating tree among a sea of poinsettias. And what's really unique about this space is they have floating Christmas trees, which feel like Christmas chandeliers. The bonsai courtyard really shines on its own, as it's one of the newer additions at Longwood. But there's one bonsai tree that we want to take a special look at. Longwood has a tokonoma, and what that is it dates back more than 500 years in Japanese culture. Japanese family would have a little alcove where they would display some family items or some artwork, and it's really special to that particular family. And of course, Longwood, their tokonoma, is an icicle bonsai tree, which is very fitting for their holiday theme. The main jewel of Longwood Gardens is the conservatories, and yes, that is correct, conservatories, plural. And with our last video, we explored Longwood Reimagined, the new West Conservatory, and we'll put a link with that video below. but we're really excited to see what it looks like during Christmas time, all decked out. So let's go take a look. West Conservatory is all decked out in white and gold, floating trees, hanging baskets, just absolutely perfect. That fits with the conservatory. If you watch our Longwood Reimagined video, you know that the new 1906 restaurant moved from its old space to the new space. If you haven't watched that video, click on the link below. It's definitely worth it. But we promise a full review as we have dinner reservations, so let's head that way. We just got seated and it feels like we're in the middle of a forest, and obviously there's great views of the main fountains right across from us. But let's dive into the menu. The drink menu, we ordered those, so we'll get into that in a little bit, but their main menu is divided into different categories. The first category is flora, which is items that are locally grown at Longwood Gardens. They have fungi, which is a tribute to mushroom type of dishes, and of course they have the classic seafood and beef options and different sides that you can order. And also it's truffle season, so if you would like any truffles, you can have freshly shaved truffles on any dish. The first item that we got is their pull apart brioche, which looks really amazing. The seeds on it are locally grown at Longwood, and then of course it comes with a herb butter. I'll tell you what, I'm starving. Let's dig in. Absolutely delicious. It's nice and fluffy. I like the grains with it as well, and the seeds adds texture to it. Their drink menu includes beer, wine, traditional cocktails, as well as some seasonal cocktails and some non-alcoholic options. Andrea went with a seasonal cocktail. I went with a nice Christmas beer, Mistletoe Mule. Cheers. Our next dish is the Little Gem Caesar. As you can see, it's very fresh, has an anchovy on it. Now, Andrea and I split the dish between the two of us, and I think it's more than enough for splitting between two people. Our entrees have arrived. Andrea went with a mushroom lasagna, and I went with a duck breast. So we're gonna dig in, we'll check back in later. The 1906 restaurant is absolutely delicious. And with the new space, it has more of an upscale type of feel. The food and the entrees are great, but you have to order like different sides, and it can be a little bit pricey if you're on a budget. Maybe not the best option, but it's worth trying at least once. course, when you come to Longwood Gardens, it gets a little chilly at night. You're gonna want a nice warm beverage or a hot chocolate, or for the adults out there, a hot spiked chocolate. We went with a hot spiked peppermint bark, which we got at the beer gardens. They have a couple tents around the grounds, but it's great to have on a cold day. Cheers. Absolutely delicious. Right behind me is probably one of the best trees at Longwood Gardens. It's located right by the small and large lakes. In previous years, it's been a tree that pays homage to birds and wildlife. We've seen gourd birdhouses, bird feeders made out of Legos, but this year, it's a phoenix that rises from the ashes. When you get close to the tree, you can see the phoenix and his tail wraps around the tree, and it's just absolutely stunning. And of course, they had dry fruit and some a bird's nest in there that really adds to the tree. As we explore the gardens, let's talk about a Longwood Christmas. This year's theme is magic, and it celebrates the magical reimagining of Longwood. It has new spaces, gardens, and thousands of Christmas lights. Tickets are required and often sell out early. We like to get here early enough to explore the grounds during the daytime and then bask in the delight and magic of Longwood under the holiday lights. We'll put the details in the link below. The views from Canopy to Cathedral are always worth it. It went a little bit more simple and elegant this year, but what's really special is seeing the inside decoration, so let's go inside. The Meadow Walk is closed. You can only go as far as the Italian Garden, which they have a beautiful light and music display, and of course, great views of the lakes. And unfortunately, there's a burn ban, so there's no fire pit to enjoy. Hopefully it'll come out later in the season. But if you're a little bit disappointed about the night display, don't worry. They moved a lot of the lights from the Meadow Walk over to the main fountain area. And we have more to see, like the Garden Railway and other fountain lights. The tree in the lookout loft looks amazing. Personally, I think it's trying out to make it to the West Conservatory. Based on the decoration, I think that's where it belongs. All right, the next stop, Garden Railway. If you can't get a reservation in the 1906 restaurant, there's a beer garden and cafe right next to the Garden Railway. They have a lot of items like hamburgers, barbecue, delicious treats. We've eaten there before and you can't go wrong. They're open from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and everything is just spectacular there. Plus, they've expanded their outdoor seating with tents, and I believe they're heated, which is a plus during the winter time. The gardener's tree is the largest tree that Longwood has outdoors. And what's really unique about this tree is the ornaments were designed by staff members. And of course, a tribute to Kennett Square and the mushroom capital of the world, they have hand-painted mushroom ornaments. light tunnel that was over by the Meadows and the west side of the fountains is now over near the West Conservatory. It's like a welcoming mat or a red carpet to the new space. Coming to the conservatory in the evening almost feels like you have it by yourself. There's less crowds, you can enjoy the lights and music in peace. We have been cordially invited by the Peppermint King and Queen for the Christmas celebration. The tree is glittering and twinkling, and of course the place is decked out like a gingerbread palace. And you know what? Kind of think like they're pumping the room with peppermint, as it smells a little bit like a peppermint scent right now. Tell you what, some of these cakes and treats, they look good enough to eat. All right, there is no better way to end our evening than in the new space of the West Conservatory. Let's head over there now. Longwood Gardens always does something different in the Acacia Passage, and this year they do icicles and it looks like a winter wonderland. As we conclude our experience of a Longwood Christmas, obviously the conservatories are the high point, clearly the jewel of Longwood Christmas. Few negative points, one being is crowds, lots and lots of crowds. This event is very, very popular, and given that they closed down the Meadows, it creates a little bit of bottlenecks and dead ends that you may have to backtrack. So just be prepared that you have to deal with a lot of people shoulder to shoulder. Also, I would say, since we've been here multiple times. Some of the outdoor lighting feels a little bit sparse. We're kind of expecting a little bit more. As far as some of our other experiences, like the 1906 restaurant, excellent service and food. It's fine dining at its best. You need to make a reservation in advance. But that concludes everything for a Longwood Christmas. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And we're going to be kicking off a lot more Christmas videos and other adventures, so subscribe for future adventures. But until next time, keep on exploring.